Guys, let us tell you about what's going on today. Okay, so uh, for one reason or another, our guest is not able to join us today. For those who watched the second season, it was Felipe Duarte Pina, and he was going to come on and talk about basically the first set of students that graduated it from the university dreams courses. But we'll have to, if he doesn't show up, we'll have to reschedule with him because I'm sure that's something everyone here would really like to hear about. But there is still the possibility that he could jump in the middle of us talking because we left the invitation open. So until then, uh,
We've just been trying to rack our brains like, okay, the
well,
guest is gone. What do we do?
and with that, welcome to the 65th episode of the Made in Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Mighty Vicious, as always, joined by my co-host, Jamie James. And, I wasn't even going to try to get into any nicknames because I was really ready to go on this
On the
thing.
story.
Yeah, I was like, this is awesome. I want to know
It's
how you
so
teach dreams.
it's so interesting that it's even in like the educational space already. Like I know it's something that we've been advocating for and we hope that would happen, but so early in Dream's life cycle, like for it to have a full, a full course and for people to be qualifying it and coming out with a qualification and stuff already is just so huge for Dreams as a platform. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to talk it through with him when we eventually find where he's gone.
when the aliens return him, we will be the first to ask him to come out to the
He's more than likely just got lost in the Dreamiverse and we need to go find him.
Basically. I mean, oh my Jesus, everything's falling apart here. Anyway, so this, so yeah, hopefully nothing bad happened. I mean, as always, like I said, we're all jokes here. When we get in contact with him again, we'll reschedule him because yeah, it's just an interesting topic. Though I do see that Char in chat said roundtable question mark. And
Mm.
I'm not opposed. I'm not
Yeah,
opposed.
neither am I. I mean, if
Um,
people are up for it, I know
yeah,
it's short notice and it's just quick of the moment, but yeah, if people are up for it, I'm down.
yeah. If people in chat want to jump into the Discord and also Steel O'Neill, welcome. Um, if people in chat want to do that, then I am more than willing to jump in because I know a few of you have been wanting to get some things off your chest a little, lately, and I think
Oh,
we can.
that's mm,
What?
that sounds saucy. That
No,
sounds saucy. Like
oh.
some people got some stuff they need to get off their chest.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
have it. Let's have it out.
I mean, no, I'm just saying that would be fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
God, I'd rather it be a PlayStation party. Jet Yeti, you're complete disregard of Discord as a thing. It's like the funniest thing ever, bro. Like, I understand. I mean, it took me a while to adopt Discord as well because when my friend was like, "Hey, come onto this thing. It's like blah blah blah. You can do blah." I was like, "Oh, I signed on. I have no idea what I'm doing." I have like 5 random Discord names just floating around out there in the ether. And then until I found out how to really how to use
How
Discord
to
and
use it?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I would sign in and it would always ask me for a name. I'd give a different one. I just did. I'm just like, oh, I'll be this today. I don't
So
know.
we have lots of personas out there in the Discord verse. Then
Yes,
interesting. What do
yes.
you happen to remember? What those names were? It'd be interesting to know what you chose other than Mighty Vicious.
I think the first one was the strongest there is.
Okay, that makes
I,
sense.
I think the second one was Kurosurugi.
Again, makes sense.
I think there was a random joke one, maybe made off of my old AOL login,
Oh
which
my god,
which
we're
which is
going that far back.
which was
Jesus.
like Vegeta X666 or something.
Oh,
something.
so cliche. So cliche.
Oh, hey, it wasn't cliche when I made it, baby. You have to remember, I was on Dragon Ball before people here knew what it was. So,
Yeah, yeah.
back then nobody knew what it was about. But now, Everybody got that Vegeta name. Vegeta's Vein 007. uh, and that's something I like to say. I guess I just don't like Discord. Hey, Jay, yeah, you have to get over this stuff.
Yeah, look, come
Mike
on.
Mike D Vicious.
Mike D. Vicious.
Yo, that would be funny. I need to make that joke name. I need to I might steal that, bro. But but while we get a general consensus as to whether or not we're gonna just start letting people pile in for a roundtable, an impromptu roundtable, like I wanted to know from people, like, what have you seen in the Dreamiverse that's like really turned your head recently? I mean, every day we have stuff on Twitter that just comes across the feed where you see the little things people are working on. And I mean, for me personally, I would say good, but if somebody wants to propose a bad, I mean, as long as you're ready to
Mm,
co-sign that with your name,
yeah.
I mean,
You're ready to back up the claim
because I
as to
don't,
why.
because I mean, y'all have to understand, and that's not me trying to be overly dream centric. This isn't the dreams evangelist talking right now. It's just even the things that people consider bad in dreams, like the meme stuff and stuff like that. Some of those things do things that I don't know how to do or execute yet. So I try to, like, when I watch a movie and the movie might be terrible, but I always look for what was the person trying to do, even if they didn't do it well.
Yeah.
And if I can see that, then I'll be like, oh, okay, I see what you were trying to do. Cool. Because you can't bat 1,000 every time. So
Mm.
I don't really see anything, I think, that I would consider bad in the Dreamiverse. Just because, even if their end game was a meme, the technical aspect of how they do it, like, I don't know how they did that weird Tommy the Train Engine, like
Yeah, yeah,
that
with the
weird
neck and
with the
everything.
long neck and how
Yeah.
that looks smooth as hell. And I have no clue how they did it. Like
Like,
that
have
neck
you
looks
seen
really wiggly.
have you seen the Disney one where it's like Mickey and Minnie and like Mickey chainsaws like Donald Duck or something? I can't remember. It was so long ago when I watched it. It's like really gruesome kind of Disney meme, but the animation is so good. Like the
Yeah.
way that it's actually animated, it's super smooth. I was like, and I was just watching this, so like, this is just terrible, but jokes aside, like props to the animation. Like it's really, really good. It's just a
Yeah.
shame that you made this with the animation, but like, yeah.
I mean, everybody that has to have a cooldown period. Everybody has
Yes.
to have, maybe they're working on something actually means more to them or that will be perceived better. But, that was the thing they just made and threw out. Because,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's just that, like I said, even when we always talk about the memes and how how it can clog up the Dreamiverse and make it hard to find, things that people really care about and put their hard work into, I still have to look at those things and I always say it every time. Like, I get it. I get why people hate it. And for one, don't endorse because I understand why it's frustrating. But a lot of those things I still look at. I'm like, technically, though, not subject wise, but technically, that's fantastic. And so, like, for me on Twitter, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Jovanican,
Yep, I
but
am, yeah, yeah.
Jovanican, he's been literally trying to perfect this VR like gun animation, like reloading and all that stuff, and having fluid arms that you can move. And the things he's done, like, he only pops up maybe, like, at least from my feed, he only pops up maybe like once, or, well, he'll pop up and there'll be like 4 times in like a week, and then he'll disappear, and then he'll come back and you'll see what he's updated. And he's done some crazy, like, gun reloading animations, like flipping out the clip and putting back
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
and like he's done some crazy stuff. And it
Super
just
smooth. makes me. Yeah, yeah. Super smooth. Yeah, yeah. 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 Yeah, yeah.
and it just makes me think of, like, you know you know I keep wondering if he's gearing up for something. Like if
Oh, sure.
PSVR 2 is when, well, I mean, I know he's working on something, but I wonder if it's past just working on something. Like if this guy, because he's
Okay.
relatively quiet. I say guy, I don't know
Yeah.
personally, but whether it's like waiting for the next gen of like VR, and he's gonna come out of nowhere with this crazy thing that, I mean, it's just nuts seeing what I've seen from him. But that's just one. Do you have anything that?
Yeah, for me lately, what I saw that really turned my head was the quest for self-confidence. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it's like this pictograph kind of game where you just slide through the different um it's really hard to explain. It's like just pictures of a person walking, but you just slide through the images and it's like showing you how to be self-confident and stuff. But the actual art style and the way that you move through this particular title is just super interesting, and it's nothing that I've seen on Dreams before. It's
What was the title again?
The Quest for Self-Confidence.
Oh yeah, the
Have
one
you seen it
done.
like with the light switch and stuff? Like it's all flat?
Yeah, the one done by the French dreamer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
that's the
I
one.
actually put that on the list
Oh, you did?
yeah, on the list that I'm planning on giving to this journalist for Dreams Games and Creators. Which, let this serve as a reminder. I'll probably do it again on the Discord. We're getting creations like games, full games. It can be mini games or whatever. They just have to be complete. And we are basically in talks with a journalist that has this whole thing going on. We're going to talk more about it later. But I want to give them as many of our community's dreams as possible to put towards a good use. But we'll get back to talking about that. So yeah, um, now you made. I'm trying to remember the dreamer's name, but yeah, they work completely in text boxes,
Yeah,
and
that's
it
the one.
yeah,
And I believe it's Toadu, I believe the name is.
it changed recently, so
Oh, okay.
maybe
Well, that's the name that's on
yeah,
Dreams right now
Todo,
is
yeah,
Toadu.
okay, then yeah, I mean yeah, everything that Todo has produced so far, which I've tried to get them on the podcast, but they're a little hesitant because they believe their English isn't good enough to be on the
Yeah.
podcast. But last I checked, Flux Mux was putting in some good words, trying to get trying to get them to come on. But yeah, everything that created, I've been
It's
hassling that
crazy.
I've been hassling Todo for over a year now. Every time it
It
puts out anything.
the fact that like, how effortless it looks. Like it just looks so pristine and so perfect. It looks like something that's been done in like Adobe. It looks like something that's literally been made in like Adobe. It's so clean, and the way that
Yeah,
it's all done with text boxes is just incredible. It's something so simple as a text box, and look what he's done with it. He's really thought outside of the box and used a text box to its fullest potential. It's just insane. I love when people in dreams do that, where they take something and turn it upside down and make a new use for it.
yeah, and one day we'll have we'll get Todo on here, because I am willing to try to find uh, what do you call it? God, guys, let me tell you, today has been a day. But what do you call it? Interpreter. I'm not above. Yeah, translator. There you go, translator. I'm not above trying to find a translator to have certain people on. So like
Yeah, I don't
that's
think it would be that difficult to find someone.
yeah. I mean, we got enough people in the Dreamerverse to where that wouldn't
I mean,
necessarily be a thing, but I mean, be a
yeah.
problem. But yeah, it's
But yeah,
just
Jet
go ahead.
Yeti is on point with the quest for self-confidence. He said it looks like the little silhouettes from Portal. Like that is so on point. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
So
So
good.
and are there any other creations that have really turned your and
Um, Trip's Voyage was
I knew you
definitely a
would
head
guess.
turner for me. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Trip's
mean
Voyage
it's
is
solid.
it's like I mean, don't get me wrong, it is completely Mario formula, like down to the T. Even the jumps and the cycle, how the jumps work, everything is Mario formula, but completely reskinned and done in this person's own way. But it's just super, super polished. Like you just wouldn't even know it was Dreams. Like you know those games that really take away that Dreams aspect of it
Yeah.
completely. It's one of those where they've just polished it to perfection, and it's going to be really interesting to see how far they take it.
Um,
But
I like that they are planning on doing updates to Trip's Voyage where like is it's kind of on board with it where you have the people being able to make music that's going to be placed in updates. And yeah, and Ali was talking about that the other day. And so yeah, that's cool. It's one of those things where I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Something feels like it's cooking behind Trip's Voyage to me.
yeah.
So I don't
Other
know.
than that, What's My Number was also an interesting one because a lot of the Dreams people now on Twitter have been playing Wordle. Not sure if you've seen it about. Like my feed has been filled with Wordle.
Yes.
Now I'm one of those now that play Wordle daily too. Absolutely
Oh
love it.
boy.
And someone excuse me, someone recreated it in Dreams but using numbers. And it was just
Huh.
so cool just to see that they've took that formula and done it in Dreams. It was really cool. So yeah, What's My Number was a good one too. Other than that, the only other thing that I've played this week is Misu Run by Bivson.
I played that too. I actually recorded a video of me playing that because there's something else I'm working on in the background. But yeah, that
Can you remember a PS1 game where it was in that same art style, but it was like you had to jump in sync with music? I can't remember its name. Someone, there we go,
Vib
perfect.
Ribbon.
Vib Ribbon.
Cynic is another one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cynic.
Cynic is on point. He's just like, boom, I know exactly what you mean. Vib Ribbon. Yeah, it's just so like that. It just brought back so many memories of replaying that on PS1. Like, I loved that game. So, yeah, that was really cool to see that style done in Dreams as well.
Oh yeah, that's the one that the
It's like a little
older
rabbit.
head that the older head of Sony was like all about.
Yeah.
The yeah, Vib Ribbon. You know what game I'd like to see possibly remade? And I bring this up because most people don't remember this game. At least people that I talk to that are into gaming in my circles in IRL. Jumping Flash. Does anybody remember that game with the robotic rabbit? It was like a PS1
Hold on, I
exclusive.
gotta
They
Google
had the
this.
demo on the demo disc.
Oh, the demo disc.
Yeah, the demo
Love
disc
this.
for PS1 had it, along with I think Battle Arena Toshinden.
Jumping Flash. No, I. Hold on, let me get a picture up.
And it's basically like a platforming puzzler.
Yes, this does bring back a memory.
Yeah, like I love that game, and that would be something that I think somebody could probably create easily. Not me,
Oh, there's
not
yeah,
me,
no, not me either, but
but
someone in the Dreamiverse with more skill than I could probably whip this out very quickly.
yeah, like I'd love to see someone out of with all the games I see people making their own versions in Dreams and stuff. I would love for someone to actually remake Jumping Flash. That would
That'd be pretty
I
cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's a quick ticket onto this show. If you can if you make Jumping Flash, because I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna be honest with you, and you're gonna get on the show. I love Jumping Flash. It's a game that I've always been like, how come this never came back up? Like,
Yeah.
I really liked it. But
Do you
yeah,
know what would do you know what would be cool in Dreams as well? If someone did their own version of Super Monkey Ball and used the accelerometer of the PlayStation controller like to actually control everything. That'd be pretty sweet to see in Dreams.
hasn't
Has that
someone
been
already
done?
done that? Yeah, like I have this feeling that I've already seen and played that within Dreams, but
I don't
I don't
know.
think it used the accelerometer, but like I think it was just like DS4 control. Like
Yeah.
but
Joe
okay, so
Ryan, apparently.
yeah. We got to get Joe on here one of these days.
Yeah, we do need to get Joe on.
But That comes
There's
later.
yeah, there's so many people that we need to talk to on this show. Like
Yeah.
we haven't even got through a quarter of the list of people that needs to come on the show and talk to us. Like it's
Yeah.
just crazy how many super talented people are on this platform. It's such an early stage.
Yeah. Maybe when we release our next scheduling list of dates, maybe we'll get people on. Maybe Sanako will join us. That would be awesome.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
you know, wait, who's on your list for list? Wait, list for list? What?
Wait, who's on your list for list? I'm not sure I follow the terminology.
Oh,
Oh,
list for
list for guest.
um let me see here. Let me pull it up real quick cuz oh, wait, I'm actually getting hit back by our guest. Uh
Oh,
let me see here. Hold on one second. Let me see. To the voice channel. Oh, well, we might still we might still have a guest.
ooh,
Hazed Gamer, what's going on, dude? Been
I
trying to
know,
work,
yeah.
been trying to find you, been trying to reach you lately. Um, so let's prepare for this.
Mm,
So
those settings now.
yeah, now settings are
Live.
just all jacked, guys. You don't know. This is about to get real wild, the Wild West. But yeah, the list of the oh, here we go. All right.
Oh, here we go.
Yes. So we got one. There we go. And my original bam. That worked apparently. If you want, Felipe, you can hit the video button that's there on the Discord, and it'll actually pull your camera up. And let me see here. Oh, and then
Here we go. Here we way.
and that switched. There we go. That's
Hello.
hello,
Hello,
hello.
how are you?
I'm first so sorry, man. So
Hey,
massive apologies. You
it's
guys
fine.
have no idea. Oh, it's not. I don't do this. This is not me. I'm screaming inside. So first of all, how are you doing, guys? So
We're
it's been
doing
like
good.
almost a year.
It has been
Uh,
almost a year. It's so good to have you back.
yeah, thank you for asking me to come back. And second of all, I talked with you guys and I booked on my calendar 9 p.m. GMT. And I'm like, I was looking at the calendar. Oh, yeah, it's this Friday, 9 p.m. Sure. Okay. I'll have dinner early, get ready, prepared. So I was just chilling, in the sofa. I just finished dinner. I was like thinking, okay, I'll be recording in, 45 minutes. And I look at. And I look at you guys and like, uh-oh, okay, so apologies for that.
It's
I don't
fine.
know why I booked 9. I never do this. Anyway, I'm here.
It's
Well,
fine.
we're
It's
pleased
fine.
we're pleased you made it. We're pleased you
Yes.
made it because we
Thank
are
you.
very, very intrigued by everything that you've been working on with the education sector and dreams and stuff. So I'm really excited to hear everything that you have to tell us about it. So glad you made it.
Cool. Thank you.
Now,
Um,
I've warned everybody that's watching. The cams are probably going to get a little screwy when I switch to this next thing, but I'll be fixing them while we go. So this is going to be
It's a
interesting.
live show, guys. It's a live show.
Oh
Okay.
my
yeah,
god, it
yeah.
worked! It worked. The cams, they worked. It's all good. Okay, so there we go. Now I just have it up now so they can see the work from the students. And I mean, it worked. It worked kinda. It just didn't have the
Yeah,
name in the right place. Jet
that's
Yeti,
fine.
leave me alone.
That's fine. I mean, at
So
least the cameras are working. So
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, so I guess go ahead and catch us up on what's been going on.
Right. Well, I still have. I I just finished eating really fast. Um, Sorry, guys, just give me a second
No,
here.
honestly,
No
it's fine.
problem.
Take your time. Take your time.
So while we give him a moment, I guess we can go back to uh something that's actually I plan to get to a little bit later. But I know Jet Yeti, you were talking last week about how you've been feeling about your work in dreams. And so I was pretty much wanting to ask people as it comes into this whole conversation we're about to have, like, what's helped people learn dreams? Like, was it the tutorials, the YouTube videos, or has nothing worked for you yet and you're just not happy with what you've been able to produce? And like I said, we'll probably get into that again a little bit later, but I guess I'll start with Jamie. Like what's helped you learn in dreams the most?
For me, it's definitely the community tutorials, specifically TAP. Like lately, I have been delving into learning how to do animation because, of course, I'd pick the hardest thing to do and the most tedious because it's me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, TAP's animations and just the community in general. These tutorials are just absolutely quintessential because MIDI Molecule can only do so much. They can only show us so far how to go before they just have to leave it in our hands to learn ourselves. So when the community takes the time and effort to, make these tutorials, share their work, and put them in a really nice compacted way for you to learn, absolutely essential for me, and it's the best way for me to learn. I use remote play in my room, so I'll have dreams on the middle screen, I'll have the tutorial on the left screen, and I just try to mirror everything that they're doing step by step to try and just figure out the process and then absorb what I've done and learn the reason why I've done it that way. So yeah, community tutorials are just absolute bomb for me.
Jet Yeti said watching Twitch has helped him learn dreams the most. And Steel O'Neill says, I've given up trying to make things and now I'm 100% using community assets. Feels liberating. I know that feel that it is liberating, but I feel like at some point you're probably going to go back to trying to create things on your own because there's going to come a time where you're going to want something that's a specific way and the Dreamiverse isn't going to have the asset you want, and that's going to force you to kind of buckle
But that's
down.
not
And
that's not a bad thing though either. Like use community assets,
oh no,
and
that's what I
stuff.
said. It is liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing at all. That's what it's there for. Like, and even I had to learn that because while I was learning to sculpt, and of which I've gotten a lot better at, just by sheer banging my head against the wall. It's there was those short films, like the little short film I made a little while back, was literally a challenge from a friend that wanted to teach me that liberation of just grab assets, make something, and just take the stress off of yourself of creating in dreams. And it worked wonders. It's actually helped me come back to creating my own stuff and with renewed vigor and a lot of inspiration. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with using community assets. And if anyone tells you differently, tell them to mind their own business. That's uh but yeah, so Felipe.
Yeah, thank you. So I was listening to what you guys say. I totally agree. You should use the community assets. That's why they're there. The same happens with any other engine. Like when you're in Unity or Unreal, you work with the community, and you just use the assets you have, and then you remix them. You change them, and you learn with it. It's like when you're a kid and you're learning to draw, and you're like watching, Dragon Ball or whatever you watched on Cartoon Network, and you copy, and you're, essentially using somebody else's assets. But then you evolve and you change and you adapt. So um, anyway, speaking of the reason I'm here, and thank you again, guys, for inviting me. The Dreams postgraduate course happening in Lisbon. So the first year, just to give everyone an idea, the first year ended, and the first year was especially difficult. They always are when you build a new course with the school, in this case, university that's a European university. And not only you have to hit all the marks on, they have a budget, have to get the teachers, but we had obviously COVID, and COVID changed a bit of the way we had to, organize. So what you're watching on screen right now are the final projects of I think 10 students. A few of them did not finish by their own decision or because life came in the way, so they had to give up midway. But so you're watching projects that were done and learn. They had to learn with us online, and I will explain it a bit how I had to do and teach how to use the Dreams Engine online, because the postgraduate is around a year. It takes a year. Everyone is welcome to join. It's a postgraduate, so you don't have to have a master's or a scholarship or whatever. You can be like a carpenter. You just come in and join. Obviously, you go through an interview just to make sure you're in the right place. And so the course is built to make sure that if you know jack about nothing related to video games, programming, art, you're still okay. So the way it's built, it starts from the ground with some classes about production, and then there's in the mix there's my classes, which is the Dreams Engine, so people learn. Even if you don't have a PlayStation, the course for supplies one. So we have a sponsorship from PlayStation Portugal. We have a sponsorship from Media Molecule, so it's official from Media Molecule. And what we did is each student has access to a PlayStation they can take home. So in the case of COVID, it was super handy for those that either had one or it wasn't had one, but their kid has it's playing with it, so they could put it in the office or something. So everyone took a PlayStation home, a free license of Dreams given by PlayStation Portugal. They use their own. So first thing, they use their own PSN account. Super important, because everything they create, it's theirs to own and to continue and publish and do whatever they want. Also, because it's their PSN account, it means that when they finish and you have these projects and people go, you're talking directly with them. I'm no longer involved. None of the teachers are. So that's super important. So all of them spent a year having Dreams Engine classes, design classes, production classes, UI, UX design, basics of video game design. And they had they have also a class with me, which is interactive narrative. And they have all these small classes, and it ends on a bigger one, which is the project class. The project is the bigger one. Everyone does a game on their own. We decided that do it in teams was not a good ideal solution for this. And so you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games done by 10 students that finished the course. And obviously, I'm super open to questions from you guys about so many things. So I'll just shut up now, and you guys ask me questions, because I could just talk forever about the work we've been doing here.
Well, we want you to do that, as we always tell
Yeah.
as we always tell people. When it comes down to it, the more quiet we can be, the better we feel the episode is.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, my original question that came to mind while you were speaking before you started breaking it down was like, how do you even go about teaching dreams, like in a structured educational like classroom format? And now I'm wondering, how do you go about doing that as well as having to do it all online? Like,
Yep.
I can only imagine how
Yep.
difficult that was.
So the online part was through PlayStation Remote. So what I was doing was, the university has its own what do you call it, streaming service, like Discord. Like, imagine a Discord for university, where you have the section for that class. The students join. Everyone can stream from their own computer. I can, I have admin power, so I can mute everyone. I can do a poll and see, if everyone votes something. So it's very interactive. Everything is recorded, so in case you missed your class, you can watch it all again. It's saved on the server of the university. All the courses are in English, because we do get a lot of students here in Lisbon that are not Portuguese or come from other countries in Europe. And the online part was really logging onto PlayStation Remote on my PC, connected to my PlayStation, which is right next to me, and from there, from the PlayStation Remote, streaming it into that university. So basically, I had double the lag that I would have because I was doubling, So moving the controller and the imp became a bit of a funny thing to do. The worst part was whenever a student wanted to share their screen, it would always take a while, and some students would say, "Teacher, this isn't working." because what they would do is they would connect. Actually, I have a remote here, so they would connect. They would press the PlayStation button, and what does is it connects to the PlayStation, and that's not what you want. In the PlayStation remote, you have to connect to the PC.
Yeah.
So they did not know they had to first disconnect it from the PlayStation from the menu, plug the USB cable, sync it with the PC through. So you would take like 5-10 minutes of each student going it through it the first time, and then it would happen again later because they would forget, plus lag, plus streaming issues. So the first classes of this first year were very painful. Lots of students' homework was basically just do all of the tutorials, basic, intermediate, advanced. So part of my class for you to tell you how I break down this. So we analyzed it on a broader view. Okay, if these people are not programmers or artists, or we can actually get a programmer, and we did. Like half of the games you are seeing are by people that either are in some sort of IT services or know a bit of code. A bit did some games before, like 2 or 3 had done games before. 5 or 6 of them had never done video games ever. They had no knowledge of anything.
Awesome.
So it's towards them that we structure the course. So that means that we have to go through, my class is, what is a game engine? Why does it exist? What is this tool? Compare it to other tools, pros and cons. Let them ask all the questions. If everyone forgets, but if you catch a student, it hasn't happened, but I did have one of these situations once, that has never used a PlayStation controller. What do you do, right? And you guys probably remember when you were kids, and the first first person shooter you picked up, you were constantly like, leveling like you were 7 or 8, like. And this happens if you're 30 and you've never picked up a controller for playing with a first person game. And so with dreams, it's 10 times the complexity, and you go like, okay, this is not working. So there's a process of teaching them, single out the students that need this help, then explaining them, do not change the layout of the controller to to not use the gyroscope, because you have that option, right? You can just use the thumbsticks and disconnect the gyroscope. And I tell them not to do that. That's essential. It will ruin their work later on. And then we go through what is logic. The course does not teach the music section or the audio. We go through it. We explain how it works. They're not supposed to be learning how to do music. And they are not supposed to be doing any geometry assets, whatever. They use all of the assets from Dreams already done. So all of the course is towards game design. And because it is game design, I don't care if the floor is gray or it's grass or it's a forest. They can do something. If it's ugly, I don't care. And now we're watching a game that is exactly that. The guy didn't care about the look. It's actually a very morbid game where you are an artist that paints with the blood of the victims. Serial Fixers is the name of the game. And so they go through that. They use the assets. This is not a course to learn art. It's a course to learn game design. So that's the focus. The moment we had that focus, me and the other teachers that organized the course, one of the teachers is one of the heads of the school. The other are actually people I've met, plus a few others that are part of the university. So half of the teachers in that course, more than half, are actual game designers, game developers themselves, have done games on PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, whatever. So that elevates it a lot because we understand how hard it is and what it takes to do something. And so we pick that up and we structure the course. We go there, go this. All of the homework is geared towards, we're not going to teach you what's already in the tutorials. You do the tutorials. If you miss them, it's part of, you have to do the tutorials in Dreams. So we build on top of that. Like, I know that next class they come, at least half of them have done the basic tutorials, or all of them have done. So I build on that, get a measurement of where the class is headed, work on that. They get out of my class, which is one of the first of Dreams Engine, with having touched all of the sections, the logic, the rotors or motors. I'm always forgetting the name. you have all the puppets, and all the pistons and all this, everything. So they go through all that. We learn all of that. The variables are left for last. And I also do not go through, if you want to build your own puppet character or you want to edit one, I don't touch that. It's like we split that out as well. Just use one pre-made, learn how to do it. And so we're watching now is a shooter. So, he didn't even use a character. So we learned how to do this. This guy had a lot of trouble getting here. But you can see in everyone, just like happens with, all of us, to, at some point in the course, there's a light that switches and they go, aha, I'm starting to getting it, and suddenly it just goes, the curve is super fast for them to do things. So that's how we're doing it. Then they have the course. There's actually a workshop by somebody from Media Molecule at the end of the course. And then they are left to their own design. They are, we explain to them, you cannot, this is not a course for you to say, I excel at Dreams and now I'll get a job working at Dreams. That's not what it is. It is, you made a game, you can show your game on video, and you can say, I'm learning game design and I, can get a job as a junior, or, not even as a designer, starting in the industry, but at least you show that you have interest in learning and doing this. So it is a very good jump platform to something else. And it is the only course in Portugal for game design. But I think the results speak for themselves. It worked really well. And now the second year started and everyone's in school. So it's going much faster, much easier. We changed a few things, actually removed one of the classes, which was not necessary. And so used those hours for other classes. And yeah, so that's how we structured it. I hope that answers my question.
Yeah, and I'm collecting questions from the chat as people are extremely interested in the process of this. But one was from Duckonomics in chat, who asked, I wonder if any of the students had any criticisms of Dreams. Like, was there anyone that was just simply just like, this shouldn't work like this? Like, anybody doing that?
Yes. Yes, they're all valid. They all disappear by the end of the course. So at the beginning, there's the question, the $1 million question: will I be able in the future to publish a game made in Dreams outside of Dreams? We've talked about this 1 year ago. I remember we talked about this.
Yes.
And I said what I said then. It's up to Media Molecule to one day release the plans of what they intend to do. That's the $1 million question. Everybody asks that one right up from the bat. If you're not asking that question, you're probably, you're not doing you're not very smart, probably, if you're studying to work on Dreams and then you don't know what you want to do next. So that's a question that pops up. The other one is the difficulty of adaptation at the beginning with the gyroscope. Super hard. Was hard for me. And I've been in the industry for 20 years and I've had a controller since I was a kid in my hand. Well, in the 80s the controllers were different, but still it was hard for me. I can imagine for somebody like that. So it's a steep learning curve. And the last one was limitations, like, I can't do transparencies. When they realize something like that, I can't, what was the other one? Can't do multiplayer online.
Yeah.
So the things that we already know that either will come or Media Molecule will announce something about that, they ask. And so those are the main, but they disappear. Like mid-course, nobody cares about that. They are so happy with the results. They realize the importance of the tool to quickly get something on screen working on your PlayStation at home.
Fantastic.
You mentioned that some of them was like, coders or whatever that had some type of experience with that kind of element of game design at least. Was there any that actually tried game development prior to your course on an alternative engine that then found
Yes.
out that Dreams was much easier to use? Like, what was their opinions of Dreams compared to what they've used in the past?
That's a different learning curve. So they come really hot and really fast doing things their way. And then they have to stop and take a step back. So that's the thing I've figured out. It's like if you have a programmer that's there in the course to just learn game design, he's not interested on how the logic works. He actually sees himself having to take a step back of the way things work when you're, coding in C or C++, in Visual Studio or just in Unity, and he has to, and then they go, and some people go, oh, this looks like Blueprint from Unreal, and I go, yes, that's a good example. There you go. And so they go, okay, aha, I get it. Others go like, okay, further on, sometimes they ask, okay, but I want to trigger things in a certain way, but I cannot control the cycle. I said, well, you can, do a little trick of put a timer there, put it 0.1, and there are actually, I don't remember, there was a trick with a calculator to make it take just a little bit longer so things are activated in a certain sequence. So those questions more complex arise, but when they get it, and there you go, and they done the thing.
Awesome. And let me see here. There was a follow-up. Did you have anyone who just could not get like with the tutorials? Like they had to be more like someone had to more hands-on work with them to like get through things and the tutorials just didn't work for them.
Yes, we had one person from the first year. The game is there. The game is it's the lowest grade. The game does not achieve any of the goals. Oh, beside the game, also importantly, besides the game that you're seeing here, they deliver a full design document of the entire game. So you're seeing a
Okay.
vertical slice of their game. Like for example, there's the Writer's Solitude game, which is the house from the writer, and has multiple pathways and endings, but the game only has like 4 endings, and it's really short, right? So what we encouraged them to do was, you have to learn how to do a full game design document, but your game in Dreams is just a vertical slice. If you can do more, that's amazing, but we only expect this. And this student in particular could not get things to work. She could not get into it. Not the dexterity of operating Dreams, but in her head, how to look at logic. So that was, I told her, that's your personal problem, that it is not solved here by me or anyone. It's your problem that you need to solve. I see you have books, you have tutorials, you can go through another route if you're really into it. But if you are already having problems of getting your mind to work in this way, to how you build a game, maybe this is not for you, which is a waste of money. But on the other hand, maybe it shines a light that she should not be in this line of work. Maybe I've had students in the past in other courses, like workshops. I had like students come to me in workshops. I did like a 40-hour workshop on game production. At the end, they are super happy. They are stoked that this was amazing. I never want to do video games. I'm like, okay, but they were psyched. This is, I love it. I never want to do video games in my life. This is too hard. But I'm so happy I did this workshop because now I know. So that happens as well.
And I mean, I'm sure to follow up on that, when they said that, were you at all enticed to be like, well, it doesn't have to be a game? Because that's kind of because like I know the courses for game design, but like that's one of the things that I always tell people, like when I came to Dreams, none of it was about building a game. Like building a game was never something that I wanted to do. But what excited me the most about Dreams was the idea that it gets back to itself being an educational tool. And I always bring up the guy who I need to find his name. I keep forgetting to look after these episodes, but like there's a gentleman who works in like neuroscience, and he actually built this like or basically a representation of synapses firing within a brain, and he built it within Dreams just as an educational visual tool. And that's always been like my big thing with Dreams, is that people like to focus on the game portion of it because it is on a console, a gaming console. But yeah, like other people being like using it for outside things, like I mean, I even started using it as a diary, like of sorts, like
Really?
getting my thoughts out. And yeah, I haven't released any of this stuff yet, but like yeah, like just talking to myself. Really, I think he froze. I don't
I
think
think
he's
I think he has, yeah.
yeah. Well, he'll come back in, I'm sure. but yeah, it's like that is something that I would say a lot in episodes past, but I haven't said in a while. Ooh. Let's go back
He's
here
gone.
real quick. Yeah, let's go back here real quick. So I would say an episode. Oh, we're back.
Here we go.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
It's been that type of day. Don't worry. So
We'll make it. We'll make it.
but yeah, it's just I always like to tell people that, you know, or just make sure people know that, like, for me personally, it's on a game console and you can build games, but I am more enticed with what people could use it for that isn't in that space. And it's part of the ever growing aspect of dreams. Like,
Yeah.
what are its actual full applications? And so yeah.
Yes,
Anyway.
a good example is someone is using Dreams for interior design, aren't they? Like they're using it to just 3D model out rooms and how to design architecture and stuff. Like there's loads of different uses for it other than just games itself. You know, 3D modeling can be used for a numptum of things. It's not just games.
Yeah, I mean there is someone using Dreams currently that uses it for interior design 3D walkthroughs, and
That's right, yeah.
you know, and for like they get paid to do it. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many applications of it. But let me let you take over. I'm getting real caught up in my thoughts right now.
No. It's fine. It's so the people that tell me this were in workshops or classes that were not related to dreams. So just video games overall has nothing to do with dreams, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference. So far in class, like I was saying, only had one student that I felt was not in there. You know, was not this. I do have the occasional. Normally, it happens with younger people, like a kid, like a teenager that says, I want to make video games. And then what they present to me is a story. And I said, okay, maybe what you want to do is write books, write stories, you know, comics or books or scripts for movies or whatever, because you really like to write. And you are not writing, because writing an interactive narrative is very different from writing a normal narrative. So normally I tell them, if you manage to publish online, like, and publishing online is super easy nowadays for free, a series, a small book, and people like it, then you can do the jump for video games with interactive narrative. That's the only ones that I really try to steer clear of jumping right into games if they see that they are just writing and writing. You know, you look at their game design documents, it's just a story.
Yeah.
No, you know, so that's the only ones. In relation to the dreams being other tools, sure. Actually, with musicians, I do. I think I said this 1 year ago. Feels like it's a deja vu. Musicians, I say, hey, this tool is amazing, and when I show them, it's like, okay, it is, but I have my setup with my computer, and I do it like this. I have my mixing table, and I have this. So it's more of the probably younger musicians will probably use, because it's it happens with every new tool and every new setup. People stick with what's working. If they have a day job, they will continue doing in the tools they already have.
Yeah. There's only been a few cases where it's changed people's minds, and that's one of the main reasons I want to speak with like Martin Nebelong, because you can tell his frustration every time he has to go back to using other tools. He's just constantly like, if only it was Dreams. Like, if only this was Dreams, it would have been so much easier. And it's just so yeah, but yeah, people do like to do things the way they like to do them, and if you have a way that works, I mean, that goes. I feel like at least as an entry prize, Dreams is just, if you never had the chance to do it, but you always wanted to, you can do it now, and that's kind of like the only prerequisite I see for Dreams as a creation engine, or however people want to classify it.
Yep.
So the next question from chat was, what was by far the most frustrating part of putting together the course?
Most frustrating part to put together the course, actually getting it started. It's like normally, I don't know, I've worked with a few universities in Portugal. The hard part is getting it to start. After it starts, it's harder to stop. It only stops if you don't have enough students, which is currently not the case. So to get the school to agree on what you want to do, like say, normally, to give you a perspective, as it happens with any business, right? So this is a business, is that the school has their own teachers. And we go and say, okay, you have your own teacher for, like, let's say they are teaching UI, UX. And one of the complaints of the students, which was one we knew was going to probably happen, is, okay, the teacher teaching UI, UX is really good at design and all this, but they are not game designers, game developers. So it's great learning, but it doesn't fit exactly what we need. So we actually changed that a bit. So schools will impose on using their own teachers, which, I understand perfectly. They have their budget. It's easier to work with what they have, already hired at their university. So the difficult part is when you propose something like this and you want to pull in people. In my case, it was easy because I headlined the thing with my colleagues. But to have another teacher that comes from the outside of the school to come in and teach these classes, and he has to be paid and all that, it's harder to justify. It's easier if the teacher in question is really well known and has made games and you can justify it. It's somebody that's really good. Like, let's say I would have somebody who's really good at teaching, really good at dreams, not that well known, has never taught before in university. Then it's really hard to convince the school to get it on the board to teach classes. So it's a process to get it running the way you want it. The coming in with the sponsorship from PlayStation Portugal, they supplied all the PlayStations and all the Dreams licenses for every year.
Sick. Wow.
With the support of Media Molecule, immediately you get that. So it was a collaborative effort that started, way like the Dreams was still in beta when I was asked if this would make sense. I think I spoke here about that. Like, one of the guys at the school had dinner with me. He said, Philip, we have to have a dinner to talk about the possible video game design. I did not know what he was going to propose. He said, what do you think? Because he saw me what I was doing. What do you think about using Dreams? Because he was like, here's a guy that is video game creator, has his own companies and he has been doing video games forever. Why is he doing things in Dreams? What's going on? And so he was actually curious if it would be because it is easier, and told him, yes, it is easier to teach. There's a lot of barriers that are gone. Mainly the barrier that I said that it's very invisible. You don't notice until you go back to Unity and Unreal, which is you don't have to build, don't have to hit build to see your game running. You're always there. It's always running. And that for game designers is super key to immediately see the changes as you play. And so I convinced him. He was already convinced, but he just needed my approval. I had his approval. And from that point onwards, he worked really well to, with me, grab PlayStation, Media Molecule, bring them to the table and show to the school, get approvals. The actual documentation to get approval is a pain in the butt because it's a lot of technical stuff and bureaucracy, but he handled that, so I didn't have to. Not my job. So he did.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So the next question that we had was when you teach logic, this is from Atheist W. When you teach logic, are you teaching computational thinking principles or are you focusing on dream specific stuff?
Dream specific. So again, I'm not teaching how to be a programmer. I'm teaching how to use the tool, right? It's like you have this brush here with paint. Let's say in the real world, you want to teach a painter. You have the paints. You're not going to teach them how to do, but they can learn later how to do the paint, mix the paints and get it and make it, or how to do the brush. You just say, hey, somebody invented the brush and invented how to do all these colors. You just slap them on the canvas. So I'm just teaching them how to slap it on the canvas. So I'm doing that with Dreams. I say, hey, have this logic. You have these logic gates and or not XOR and all that. They work like this. And so we go by examples. They start really basic with me, which is slap some things around. My first class, besides the I split my classes. There are 4 hours each, and I split in half. Like one is talking and presenting and discussing and blah blah blah. The other half is actual hands-on. On the hands-on, I start really basic. Like they just drop in a character, and I show them how to move a platform up and down for like platform game. like I don't know how many different ways. Like you can animate it with animation, you can put it in a timeline, you can turn it on and off the positions. You do it with logic with a motor. You can do it this way. You can do it that way. You can do it. And so we go through all of these, and they starts really basic, and it gets more complex. And whenever then you expand it little by little. Okay, now you want to trigger things. How? Then I say, okay, hold this section here is waiting, like the first section on the left, which I don't remember the name, although I've been there thousands of times, of the tools. Is it the yellow one or the green one? The one on the left of logic.
Uh,
I don't remember.
No.
Never mind. So it's the signal input, right? It's waiting for a signal input. All that area waits.
That's a
So I
green
tell
one.
them,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's the green one.
Yeah.
That's the
You've
green one.
got, the game is waiting for a signal. You have to give it a signal. What do you want? Is it pressing the X on the controller or use this thing here? Is it, something happened, there was a trigger zone, something fell on there. Is it, so I show this is it. And then you have the next zone right next to it is using that signal for something. So I start by these two areas. And we use all of that, all of the tools there for the logic section. You can do this, you can do that. And then sometimes even they start, some of the students go really complex. They want the platform to appear and disappear, and they build this huge complex. And I go to them, but look, an object, a 3D object, also has its properties. You could just make it invisible just by on off here on the, and they go like, okay. And so, or you can make it invisible and not non-collidable, so it's just for the player, it's not there. Or you can do, and they go, okay. So I'm always, after they learn it, they tend to to make it too complex
Yeah.
to do something, and then I show them the easiest way, and they sometimes go, okay, amazing. And then I also tell them, well, you can't forget about the thermometer, because like you have X amount of RAM to use. If you always, this is actual what happens when you're programming a normal game, some other tool, which is first you make it work and then you go back and simplify it so it's faster, it's less RAM, and then you have the less chances of bugs, or if there's a bug, it's easier to fix. And so we go through this process with a simple platform. It expands, expands, expands. And so by the end of my class, they have a little level with beginning and ending using all these little tools from Dreams. No sound, no sound. They put music and sound. They have fun when they're not on my class. And the only rules is, you cannot spend time, and I normally check changing the prefabs, the going to search for something, can only use media molecule stuff just to make sure they're not importing something from, like, oh, teacher, I imported this first person shooter full module already made by somebody.
Yeah.
Well, do you know if that's well made? If then you have a bug, you don't know. So for the first classes, it's like you're locked. You can only use those 3 puppets that it's in the game. You cannot change any of the settings of the puppets, like, so they focus. Like, that's the speed the puppet goes. That's it. You can have fun. You have to leave it default, so that they start learning game design also in the way that it's normally done, which is when the guys at Nintendo do a Mario game, and this happens a lot. Sometimes people discover a hidden level of Mario, and it has all the platforms, all of the enemies are in the level. Why does that happen? Because you have to define how high does Mario jump before you actually build the full level with the platforms, because you have to know if you can jump that high, right? So what I told them is, look, students, you have a basic character, you see how it reacts, and then you build the level around that. You don't change the character. Only later, when you're more experienced, you can start doing that type of thing. And so they go through that, and it expands, their knowledge of Dreams that way. And then if they are, they want to know, okay, how does it work to program really something like this? And they can go on their own and find out how actually, inner workings of Dreams are. I actually send them all the videos of the guys at Media Molecule. They have these sort of docu videos about how they made the thing. They're really long, and they explain the logic behind it all. And so, can watch this. And then if you want to be a programmer, you can go and learn all of this. But this is not, the course, again, is not about that. It's about grabbing the paint and putting it on the canvas.
Awesome. Let me see here. Because I'm still, there we go. All right. And just for Skit saying, I know you're just playing, but come on, guy. Let me see here. So, here you go. Jet Yeti asked, with the knowledge that they gained from game design in Dreams, do you think the experience they gained from this course will be able to be used in industry standard programs such as Maya? And does it matter if they want to do professional game development?
So Maya is a 3D software package, and obviously, no, this does not entitle them to learn. If they open Maya and they've never used a 3D package before, they will be at 0, right? So this course is not for that, obviously. As game designers, the plan is really to get them kickstarted, or if they are already, doing games, to learn more in game design, so they can fine tune their knowledge of how to do a game. Because there's a huge problem, which is you have these huge, massive companies, AAA, doing huge games, and you have game designers there. And if you go and check, a game designer is somebody that actually was started as an artist or a programmer and went through the whole ladder, right? There's no easy way to get there because that's how the industry works. But the tools have advanced fast enough that you have people that, again, don't need to learn the inner workings of how to do a 3D model, vertices and edges and faces and normals and all of what goes into it.
Yeah.
And they don't need to learn a lot of other things just to learn game design, just to be able to build a game. So from here they can actually leap, they will, and just focus on learning game design, because there is a need for game designers. If you're going to design, there's, I don't know, Dragon Age 4. They're building Dragon Age 4 in Canada, I think, at Ubisoft, something like that.
Yeah.
And they need a quest designer, somebody that comes in. There's a tool, they have their own inner tools, and they need somebody with the mindset that already understands game design to build the quests for characters. And if you've been doing game design in Dreams, you already have the mindset. You don't need to know programming to use that tool. You take like a week to learn the tool, probably, or more, depending on the complexity. But because you have the mindset already, you on your mind, you can already envision how to organize it all on paper, etc., that you can actually take that job. Obviously, industry will not take you seriously if you say you have the course of Dreams. That's not, I always tell them, look, this is not enough. But if you show a video of your game and designs and ideas and concepts, then that's a whole different story, right? So that's what we're trying to do. It's aiming to get younger designers and game designers, level designers, quest designers, whatever you want to call it, ready for working with other teams. Where in the past it would be, hey, we're starting to make a game. We have this team of 4 or 5 people. They're all programmers and artists. Whereas one of us has to stop doing art or programming to actually do the design, or do half. So this is the idea.
And I mean, also just to go back a little bit, the programs like Maya and all these other programs are actually making changes right now that show just how ahead of the curve Dreams is. Like they're changing the way that they build in order to make it so you don't no longer have to use vertexes and all this stuff. But it wasn't that long ago that when that was proposed, that it was seen as blasphemy. So, so yeah, I definitely want to second that idea. That I mean, it's just like the idea of building a website from scratch and what it used to be, and WordPress. And it's just like you still have all the capabilities and possibilities. You just still have that
so much easier
structure there to and so.
But but make no mistake, our video games in our consoles, on our PlayStation, Xboxes, mobile PC, have GPUs that still use vertex, edges, faces, the usual stuff. Okay. Don't think this is going to change like that. It is not. That's how it is processed geometry for all of the games and all of the knowledge in the industry. So even though you can be really good and you can find a job and you can make money doing sculptures in Dreams, if you have a AAA company that needs an artist to do 3D, you need to learn Maya or 3D Studio Max or Blender. Okay.
Yeah,
so definitely. No, I know you guys know. It's just I'm saying it out there. Whoever's listening, Don't make no mistake. That there's still that thing. Okay.
So the people that you've got doing this course right now, you're in your second year. Is this the same students or is it a new batch
No,
of
new batch of students.
new batch of students? Okay. So to follow up on that, then the students that have just finished this course, have any of them piqued interest in moving to a traditional engine then to get into the industry, into game design, or?
Yes, there were a few of them that were already working in Unity or Unreal, and they wanted to learn more about design and then go back and continue. I don't know if any of them will continue on the, working in Dreams. I have no idea, but I don't think that matters that much. It's not the end goal for the course. The end goal for the course is really using this as a tool to do game design, and they continue to use that tool to prototype their games. And, it doesn't matter if they go and do them somewhere else. So that's the end goal. If one of them suddenly makes a full-fledged game on Dreams, we'd be super happy. But we're not expecting it to happen because we are aware that most of the people that come to the postgraduate, which you have, it's expensive, you have to pay, are people that are either working, already have a job, or they're students that are trying, because this is a course that is what you call it in English. It's at night. It's post work. You have a lot of students that do their, they're doing their graduate or master's or whatever, and they do this at the same time. So that's our expectations. Is, again, people to learn game design with this tool, not to continue to make video games in Dreams. If they do, amazing. If they don't, but they did learn game design, that's what we all, that's what we care for.
And that does kind of cover Duckonomics' question, which was like, do you point successful and happy students in a particular direction if they want to further their craft at making games?
We do. We gave them a plethora of. You can go to all of these courses. You can read all these books. You can, if you don't have money, or if you want to start work, can continue watching these tutorials from all these people that work in Dreams, or from, you can go there, you can go here. So we do that, definitely. We also see, for example, in the video, I had to turn off Twitch. I was watching because I thought that would help with the connection, because my wife is watching Netflix on the other room. I'm here plus Twitch. I said I'll just turn off some stuff just to make it. And now I got lost. But basically, oh yeah. So in the video that I don't know if it's still playing.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
It is
Currently
so
on
there
Undarian Night is the game that's
okay. Undarian Night. I don't know about that kid, but the game of the serial fixer, that's a Unity programmer. It's going to continue studying in Unity and programming. So that's a programmer. And the game that is the shooter was a guy from IT software. He is not going to come to games. He will continue at home having fun with Dreams. I don't know where that will take him. So we do know, and then we kind of pushed them. Oh, there was a guy that did the most complex visual game that there is, like, looks like an expansive world. I don't remember the name. That guy wants to really do environment design for games. So he had a very specific, ambitious, I want to do environment design. So his game was all about visuals. And instead of lots of logic in the game, he wanted the player to discover areas, explore, an exploration game.
Yeah.
Right. So he was very specific. So we tailored to him to do a design doc more based on exploration, and to, to let him dream, let's say, to go in that direction. And then we say, okay, if you want to go to environment design, then you probably actually need to study a bit more of art, just to make sure that you when you work with your colleagues, you have a certain knowledge of. We actually have a class of composition, light, and color included in the course. It's very short, but it is there. And I think we nixed for the second year the history of video games, which was 2 hours. You just, nobody, you can go and read a book if you want to about the history of video games. So yeah, so we do push them in the direction that we think they should be headed, for sure.
And you had already gone over how, like, sort of specifics with creating the course with the school, like teachers that you had to use, teachers that were going to be within this program. But Atheist W asked, did you get any dream specialists to teach specific aspects of the course? Like, he asked, is Paulo Lamaris just down the road? And I don't know where he is, so I don't know if that's
Yeah.
close or not.
So Paulo Lameira is in the north of Portugal. I do know him. We talk here and there, very occasionally, very rarely. So no, he can't come and teach because he's way up north, and also I don't think he's interested in it. Me and Wilson Almeida, which is the two teachers that came in fully, we were playing from the moment the beta was out and learning all the way to 2 years later when the course came out. So we were through the beta, we were at the launch of Dreams here in Portugal. I talked about this, I think, in the previous podcast.
Yes.
And so the both of us are the most experienced ones. And the plan was to go all the way to London to Media Molecule and have a workshop with them there, but then COVID happened, so that never materialized. But it was part of the plan. It went away. I was super excited that was a possibility, so we would learn even more. We couldn't do that, so what me and Wilson did was just to double down and continue learning more. And I spoke in the past podcast. I actually have a little game that is actually really in a good state now, that I tried to use all of the tools in Dreams, like it uses everything in one way. Like if the screen, you have the tool to shake the screen. Okay, there's some place where it is used. You have the tool that vibrates the controller. Yes, you have all of the buttons. It's like I tried to use everything, all of the logic, and build something really different and special. And I had to stop in the summer because I have work and I have other things. And now I picked it up back again. And so basically we self-taught, but both of us have a lot of experience in game design. So again, it's not like when Dreams showed up for us, it was really clear, and for him as well. Okay, this is the tool. This tool is amazing. So we had no doubt. So the two of us should have learned more with Media Molecule. We had the opportunity, but unfortunately didn't materialize. The other teachers did install the install Dreams. They did learn the basics, but we made sure that the courses they teach are like production, general game design, so that's why I'm in Dreams in engines, and Wilson is in level design, like building the blocks and putting things. So we split, and the final project is overseen by me, Wilson, and two other teachers, right? So they always have two teachers they can turn to if they don't know, I don't know. Oh, the wireless transmitter. I don't know how it is. Well, it's okay. Okay, you go there, or just go. Here's the tutorial I saw online. You can just watch it. It's really good. Here you go. So yeah, that's how we did it. It's a shame, but well, that's life.
I actually have a question because I mean, I this game, Colorful Murder. I would really like to speak with the person who made this because this is awesome. Like I'm sitting and looking at it. I mean, now that I got the list, I'm gonna go play this when this is over. But like the idea behind this, and I don't know. It feels like this had to be someone who kind of had like a little knowledge of something, because it's just a little nuance, or maybe it was a happy accident. I don't know, but
the best student that got the best grade is the game right at the beginning, which is Baking with Friends. It's a full game. It is from start to finish. You can finish it, and it's really funny and dark humor, because Baking with Friends is actually, the objective is to bake a cake with your friends in it. So you have to kill all of your 8 friends, and then and they're all animals. They're all little animals, like a little bunny and a little cow and a little horse, and you have to kill them in very funny but gruesome ways. And you take a little bit of each of them, and then at the end you bake the cake. So that student got the best grade because she really nailed it, not only design-wise. She actually implemented her vision correctly. Of course, there's problems in the game. There it's the first time doing, but it's a full game. You can you murder all the 8 guys, all the little animals in the gruesome way, in a random order, and it works, and you bake the cake at the end. She said she implemented an alternative ending. Even I've never seen it.
Huh.
It's there, so it's like, okay, it's in the doc. I remember she talked about it. I don't remember what the alternative ending is. I think there's a certain order that you have to kill the little furry animals.
Well, if any of the students would like to actually come to talk with us about their
Oh,
experience,
we would love that.
yeah. So
Mm.
if you're actually in touch with any of them, feel free. If not,
Yeah.
I'll reach out to them through the verse. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just as I've been looking up, because I know I've missed some of these while I've been looking through notes and everything. But yeah, I'm super impressed with what everyone's able to create, because
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of things that I talk about every week that I don't get yet, but I'm learning little by little. So, it'll come around. Hold on. I'm trying to make sure my headset didn't just die on me. No.
No,
Okay, good.
should be
Good.
working. Yeah.
Good.
So how long do you actually have funding to do this for? How long do you intend for this course to actually run for?
So it goes like this. There's a minimum amount of students per year that have to buy the course until it is canceled.
Okay.
I don't remember if the minimum is 8 students, and the maximum people that can attend the course is 20. Right now, this year, we have 10. So just a little above. But the problem is that we had the first year had more students, but we had a lot of dropouts due to COVID. And the marketing for the second year was really non-existent. So these 10 students came because they heard about it and they saw it and etc. So what we want to do is for the third year to have a marketing strategy in place, like for example this video, to give it to the school to use it to get more students in. So basically, as long as you have, I don't know again if the minimum is 8 or 6 or something, it pays the course, right? It pays for everything. Obviously the school is not making any profit, and then somebody from up above will come and say, wait a minute, what's happening here? Why are we wasting time on something that doesn't make any money? But it hasn't happened so far, and that's it. It's as long as the three main, like me, Wilson, and Nelly, who is the headmaster of the thing, remain attached to this, it should continue. Or if we were wondering, if for some reason PlayStation Portugal drops out and stops supplying the licenses for Dreams, then you have to buy 20 copies each year. So
Yeah.
it's still possible. It's not that expensive to buy 20 copies compared with all the cost of the course, so it's fine. But let's say PlayStation start to malfunction or something and you have to buy more.
Yeah.
So unless it keeps its course, the course continues to exist.
That actually brought up one of the other questions, which Liam asked if did anyone have a PS4 Pro or PS5 at home and then come into class to have to deal with and learn how the basic PS4 can't necessarily handle as much.
Yes, but it's one of the classes we talk about limitations of the engine and the fact that it now runs on 3 different machines. So I always tell them, you can, for the students that are working on PlayStation 5, they do notice the difference, and we discuss about that, but they never do something, as you can see from the videos, nothing, it's too taxing, they don't go super crazy. You don't get like, oh, I want to put 1,000 characters in game. Like all of the moment they present us, they have to present us 3 designs for the final project, like just a draft, and then the teachers choose one of each for each student of the 3 that they proposed, and then we still revise it and say, okay, maybe you want to do an MMO or something like that.
Yeah.
By that time they won't be saying that, but if they go a bit too crazy, we cut it back down to size. So for example, that game, again, I closed all the stuff I had here on the computer, but the game with the mansion and you go in, it has multiple endings.
Yeah.
It had a lot of multiple endings, and we said, look, if you're going to do this, you will never finish it. Just cut it down to size to just 4 endings. Do this, write the rest in your game design document, And so she did, and she managed to finish it. Otherwise, they would not be able to finish it. So we're really careful to making sure the students don't tax out on by going insane with their creations.
And well, the last question that I have so far from chat was, Char asks, "Could I still take this course if I'm only in it to learn sculpting, animation, and/or visuals?"
No.
That's your
Get
answer,
out of
chap.
here! Get out of here! Well, yeah.
Do you
That would
intend?
go
Sorry,
ahead.
sorry. Go on, Will. I
No,
was
no,
gonna say,
no.
like, if this continues to be a successful course, do you see any room to grow into these other types of aspects, like animation and sculpting and these kind of things?
Why not? I think Media Molecule liked what they saw of what we've done with it. They have tried to expand it to. I think they just announced something in the UK to some
They,
with some
they
school.
have. They
They
have.
have,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Okay. So they really liked the experiment. They were really happy that it worked out for us here. So I don't see why not expanding it to the musical or the animation part, because you can animate with it, So, but then you need to get. So the question that is asked at the beginning of the design, when the students come in or when we were designing the course itself, which is what's the end goal here, which is learning game design with animation. To learn animation, the question comes up of, is this the right tool to teach this? It's not about if it's faster or if it's, if there's a better tool or not, or sculpting. With music, for me, it seems clear that it's a very good tool to work, but is it the best one to learn how to do this, right? That's the thing. It's a really good tool to learn how to do game design and prototyping and make your first full game amazing, or make it, more games. But for other subjects, I'm not sure if it's the best tool, and I'm also not the best person to answer that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
That is a good question of, like, just because you can, should you?
Yeah.
And as far as animation goes, I wonder what. Not that I could make any decision for Media Molecule or anything, but as a person who's used other everything from TV Paint to Blender to I can't even remember, Toon Boom, to, like, I've used all these things, and I still believe that the one thing that would definitively make that answer yes, we should, and I know everyone's gonna hate me. I'm sorry. I know I'm that guy, okay? But if it was on PC, if
Okay.
there was a PC port of Dreams, then I would say yes. Because then I do believe that it would be completely accessible enough, like, especially for teaching. Because, like you said, like, what happens when the PlayStations break? Like, is it going to become an issue then, and stuff like that? It's like, if there was something that made it kind of like Blender and Grease Pencil, which is another thing I've tried. It's just like, because I feel like no matter what, when you break down all this stuff, you may not have all of the options. Like, I've talked about, one reason that it's good that like, this game hasn't had a PC port as of yet is because we know how other people, that when the masses get to it and they come up with some random thing, like you said, the transparency. I've talked about the transparency tons of times because it's one thing I really want in Dreams, like the sculpt transparency. And it's like, but when you have the rest of everyone able to access this program, and they start, well, where's the ocular diffusion? That's like, where's this, like, this thing that's, it's just common in every other program, but in Dreams, it's like it hasn't built up to that yet. And so it's just kind of like, I get what you're saying, and yeah, that is a Good question of should you? Um, but that's the only way I can think of it where it would be a definite yes. Because everything else does kind of work within its own. Well, everything else does kind of work the same outside of Dreams, and Dreams shares a lot of those things when it comes to animation techniques. But at the same time, there's limitations on peripheral as
Right.
well as other things that kind of make it a little more difficult. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry. I just
Yeah, yeah,
my
that's fine.
my mind is just going with how would we troubleshoot this? This is a problem, but how can we
Yeah.
fix it? So
Maybe like the principles of animation would be something that would be quite good for it. I mean, because the principles are knowledge that can be passed through on any sort of program that you're going to be animating on, as long as you know how the principles of it work. And, it's quite an easy tool to sort of start with and stuff.
Yeah, but then you go into, for example, I've used for a few years I don't know if you guys know from Esoteric Software, the Spine software package for animating.
Not familiar
You
with it
don't know.
myself. No.
Do you know the game? What is it called? It's a very famous game, and I don't remember the name. Basically, it's a tool. Yeah, it allows you to animate. If you guys just give me a second here. It's like the tool only occupies like 100 megabytes or 120 megabytes. It's super stable.
Wow. Okay.
It works really well on PC, Mac, whatever. It's like Dreams. It's really fast to use. You preview it right away. You can export it in it's 2D, mainly 2D. Um, give me just a second here.
yeah, I'm
Yeah, that's
interested to
really
see what this
interesting.
is.
And and it's the type of tool that I love because 1 second, games made with Spine software. That's what I'm googling right now. Ah, oh geez, it was announced the sequel and everything.
Oh.
Mm. A minute.
Hmm. Well, while you
Anyway, while I
yeah,
search, yes.
yeah, while you search, let me go ahead with chat because let me see. That animation talk kind of got some people fired up. Let's see. Well, animating dreams, and I think it's a great tool. Uh, Atheist says it is good, but is it the best? Jet Yeti, it's also really easy to show the basics in animation, if nothing else. And Liam said animation in Dreams is totally different to say 3ds Max. Man, I haven't heard that program's name in a
Yeah,
while.
that has been a while.
I mean, no doubt it's still out here probably, but
It is. It is.
Payoff Wizard said animation in Dreams is similar enough to other software that it's definitely a good starting place to learn. Sculpting, on the other hand, is totally different to modeling with polygons, and I wouldn't recommend it. Atheist, it's a shame because sculpting in Dreams is way easier than sculpting in, say, Blender. Preach. But like I said, they're making those changes now. Like you're seeing other programs start to change into this because it is better. Even if the computer still processes it as like verts, it makes more sense to at least to artists, because that's like the main thing I always bring up to people when they say like, well, what's the difference between how you would build in Dreams as opposed to something else? And to me, Dreams is a creation engine that you can tell was made by artists, not mathematicians. Like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like
I
it
have an answer. Yeah, I have an
yeah.
answer for that. So
Okay.
before we go there, just before I forget, so the game is Darkest Dungeon, uh, and Darkest Dungeon was made with Spine software, and it's that type of animation that is, if you're a 2D artist, want to learn animation, I really love it. It's you pay one time, so it's not like Adobe that you have the
Oh
subscription,
God.
every month.
Yeah.
It's been updated 1,000 times with more and more features all the time. It's super easy to integrate with Unity and any other package, Game Maker Studio and game and software games like that. and then you can export it as a normal animation. And I really like it. So that tool was used to taught animation 2D many years ago in another school. Anyway,
You said it was Spine software?
Spine
Spine from Esoteric Software.
Spine. Okay.
Um,
okay. I just want to make sure I got that down because that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, go take a look. If you are into animation, you will love it. And they have and it's old school. You can download a version of the software that has features locked. There's no ads, there's nothing. You just use it, and that's it. Which is really cool. So, in regards to modeling, I wanted to say something, which is there are two things happening in the industry that you guys probably already discussed here. I hope, which is. Epic Games showcased that thing with the Matrix technology, the Matrix time, the nanite technology, right? So one of the things that does is the way the assets are built are very different from the traditional pipeline. So in the traditional pipeline, if you make a car, or a piece of geometry, you need to make all the different LOD versions, so different level of detail versions, like smaller detail, smaller detail, smaller detail. So it swaps when it's further away from camera, right? So it's not taxing on the engine and all that. So an artist normally has to, usually an artist making a video game using Maya or Blender or whatever has to have a certain level of technical expertise to understand how these things work, how shaders work, how textures work. And so these guys with Nanite and with Unreal Engine seems like they're going a different direction, which is similar to what Dreams is doing, is where you don't have to know those things. You can do a high level, super high level, in Substance or whatever, an object, and you bam, put it in there, and the engine will take care of that for you. So that's happening in PC, and that's great for artists that want to go there, but it's still limited. You still need some level of technical artistry to be able to work in the industry, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to go away that fast, but it might in the future. Again, just as we're doing now with game design, where in the past game designers will be the actual programmers and artists, it has evolved to be its own thing. It's separate. Can have a career as game designer. And this might happen in the future with artists, right? Where it evolves to a point where the software takes care of that for you. But still, I always tell my students that the best artists, the best musicians, the best programmers knows how the tool actually works.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, right? And that's what I say to people in Dreams. Like, we're teaching this, but if you really want to be really good, at sculpting in Dreams, engage, take an art course, learn actually sculpt in real life, or how to actually paint, and then you will be better at Dreams sculpting. In the case of for the games industry with Maya, you not only that, you have to be a technical guy as well. You have to learn all the process behind how to actually pack it. We know with all the ambient occlusion maps and the normal maps and the diffuse maps and the specular maps, and then you have the shaders, and then it has to interact with the game, and you have to rig it, and you have to, all those steps that go into a game. So if we are going that direction, but we are not there. It will take a while. I don't know how many years, but
yeah. You kind of got to work with what's in the now, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to put food on the table, right? And you need shots.
Yeah. Can't rely on going viral.
No.
So, God, I really want to check out this Spine thing but I'll get to that afterwards. So, we had one more question come in, but I might have missed it. I'll find it at some point. They're still talking about animation. Payoff Wizard, who is, just great at Dreams, probably other things as well, says rigging in Spine also shares principles with rigging in Blender, Maya, etc. in terms of bones and painted weights, so helpful to learn. Yeah.
True.
So, other than that, I mean, is there? Oh, does the course allow foreign students?
The course is in English, but you have to be here in Lisbon. Okay, so
Is that a
that's the thing.
regulation setting, or is it that just how it's set up so far?
It's how it is set up especially because of the problems we have of teaching online, like I mentioned. So
Yeah.
if the entire class is online, it's one thing. If half of the class is online, it's not going to work. It's
Yeah.
not going to work. We are all in class. I have to have everything set up to stream the class. The other students have to be able to ask questions on the other side, show their work. So I have to stream it into class with everyone sitting down. They're all in their PlayStations, and their laptops. Normally, they always, I always make them. They normally don't do that. It takes a while, but I always say, have a lap. If you have a laptop, nowadays everyone, if you're paying for that course, you have a laptop for sure. Open indreams.me and have your thing there open. Do the search there. It's easier. It's faster. Drop it on your imp. I do that all the time. Sometimes I'm lazy and I don't. And then I remember, why am I searching using the controller pad keyboard? But it's, I'm just in the flow and I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's right. And now I got lost in what we were talking about.
Oh, just the idea of opening it up to foreign students.
Oh, sorry. So no, sorry.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. I'm so sorry. We would love to, because we constantly have that question of people that want, because worldwide, if you search online dreams classes, you don't get that many.
You're not going to get many now.
No, right? And the page in the school is all in English as well. So you have English and Portuguese, precisely because the school accepts and has a lot of courses that happen at the same time, both physical and online. But when you want somebody to use the controller and you want to see them using it and teaching them how to properly use it, it's 100 times faster if the person is right there next to you with a PlayStation. That's one of the main issues.
All right.
Well,
go ahead, James.
I was just going to say, hopefully, Media Molecule, with this new partnership that they've made in the UK with this firm that they're trying to bring in teaching how to use game development and stuff. Hopefully, they're going to branch out with that here, and if that's successful, who knows? Maybe they could do something with other countries that have similar, things set up like that. So,
yeah,
it's something that I'd personally like. Would love to see. Not only in like university, but also in behavioral health. Like my friend does counseling for a lot of troubled youths, and like I know that growing up didn't have access to stuff like this, and I just think that there's definitely something there. If all else fails, like I would really love to see dreams kind of be offered to like at-risk youths that need to see another way out. That's what I would hope to see from someone, because I mean, it's just I think of all the people that don't have this ability, and it honestly saddens me. So but other than that sour note, that down note that I just put
okay.
on
No, man, come on. You have.
but
I think it's good that you mentioned it. It's
I
not
mean,
sour now.
hopefully, because that would be something that I would definitely love to be a part of, even if I had to do it myself, which I probably will. But it is what it is. So anyway, point is, this has been amazing, and I don't want to cut you off if there's more that you would like to go through, but I also don't want to keep you if you're
yeah, we
done.
know you're a busy man.
Well, I mean, if the wife's watching TV, I mean, sometimes you just got to go watch the TV.
She's watching TV. So no, man, if I can spare another 15-20 minutes if you guys want to just not end abruptly and just maybe go in a different direction if you want to, because here it's almost 10 p.m. so it's nighttime. I will probably go drink some wine and check if she's finished watching whatever she's doing. We've been watching season 7 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so we'll probably
Oh,
try
Oh,
to.
good show. Good
Yeah,
show.
we're trying not to rush it. You don't want to, to watch
Yeah.
too many episodes, but like at least one episode per night, which is just that 20, 30 minutes, which is just brilliant. So we'll probably watch that before heading out to bed. So I have another 10, 20 minutes if you guys want.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. What did you learn teaching this course? Like, is there something that either you gained personally from going through the process of setting up this course, or is there something within dreams that you maybe happened across that kind of made you, I don't know, I guess I wouldn't say appreciate it more, but something that you were like, oh, that's possible? Because I feel like people find that stuff every day and they always put it up on Twitter and it's just like, hey, I didn't know this would happen. Or even they do something that they can't recreate. And it's just a chaos on the screen, but it's still like, I wonder if this can be replicated. But did you learn anything personally or dreams wise doing the course?
Um, Trying to remember here, doing the course. Well, preparing, I have to. So let's just to get you guys through it. So if I have a class, even if I repeat it the next year, so let's say I prepared my classes for the first year, right? And I decided, okay, I'll teach them this way with the platforms, doing one platform with one character, many ways to animate it. Then we go here, then we go there. And so what I do is I check their reactions, how they are learning, and then I kind of try to improve it. So the amount of work I have for the second year is not as big, but I go back to it and improve that class for next year. So in learning dreams, we did come across what was it? There are those little things that you never understand why the tool does what it does. Like you want to do some sort of cycle of turning on something or doing something complex, and you never quite get it. It works, but sometimes it doesn't, and you're never quite sure why this isn't working the way it is. You go through the little tutorials again, or check online to see what am I missing here. Uh, and so sometimes trying to find, like, the students stumble upon a problem, something is not working, and it happens a lot where they did exactly the same as the other student, but one student, he presses play and it's broken, and you look at the logic board, the microchip, and everything's the same as all the other students. And so at that moment you say, stop it, save it, send it to me, let me look at it. And then when you go and look at it and you go like, aha, you did, connected it this way instead of that way. And suddenly I cannot remember something specific here to go through it, and then you learn something more, right? That's where I've been learning that you can actually do this or do that, or you always forget that you have the connections with the chords, and they have the different. You can see more chords in it. That means you can split it more, right? Has more stuff in it.
Mm.
And sometimes you forget that some of the gadgets, some of the functions somewhere have a chord that you never noticed that can be split into more functions, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I could do this way instead of that way. And so it's like this um, learning curve on that, on that area of just trying to, learning a bit more here and there. I don't think there's any specific case. Yeah.
So, one more question that came in, which kind of plays into another conversation I had recently. But Jet Yeti asked, do you think Dreams should strive to be a professional tool for game development, or should it stay the same as it is now, as just a cool hobby you get into?
Um, it's a difficult question. It's a question for Media Molecule, obviously. I don't know what they are thinking about it. From the last year, you see at the hiring that they've done on their LinkedIn page of people that they're hiring. Because obviously I work in the industry, so it pops up all the time. The new jobs popping up here and there on LinkedIn. I don't know how much LinkedIn is used in the US for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot. Okay, here, especially in the UK, I think it is a lot.
It is, yeah.
Um, so you see job openings and job closing for Media Molecule, and a lot of uh, job descriptions that you go like, huh, okay. So they're going this way. So I don't know if they are going to make it a pro tool. I think the question is, isn't it already a complete tool? So isn't it already pro? Because if the end result is for you to make a game on PlayStation, we are already doing it, right? There's games on PlayStation
Yeah.
made on Dreams. So the end result is already there. Not exactly as we would like to, because you can't publish it outside of Dreams. So that's another thing altogether. So maybe the answer is, to make it a full pro tool, it would have to be allow you to somehow export it outside and do some kind of automatic check of everything's okay for you to have it in like some special store that exists on PlayStation of all creations made in Dreams approved. And then I would make it a pro, because normally you become a pro like in life, whatever you do, become a pro when you finally make some money out of it, right? Not with everything, but most of the cases is like you feel like a pro, or you are considered, you are knowledgeable about what you do when people start hiring you and asking you, hey, can you do this for me? You're really good at it. But you can't do that in Dreams. Well, you can, but but only if you are not to sell your game, but only if you, like, for example, oh, I need the music for my game. Hey, you are good at making music, and you pay for that person to make. But still, I think the tool itself to become pro would be to convert it to the publishing part of publishing your game out of there. That, I think, it's the missing link there, because as a tool it can be considered complete, because you can make the game from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
So, speaking with someone that a source I can't name currently, but had to say, I was sitting there for part of that. How am I going to say this? Because I don't know. But they seem to say, like, the way they said it is, it's Dreams is perfectly fine where it stands, as long as it reaches the point of Roblox. Of course, better than Roblox as far as some of the things that have come out recently. But he was pointing out that like in Roblox, you have full game companies that have actually been set up and run their business through games that are completed in Roblox. And so it just needs, as far as the money aspect, it wouldn't necessarily need to be able to be published outside of, but there definitely would need to be a structure inside of the game to give you what you would get from putting it outside, the monetary aspect. So I thought it was interesting that he put it.
All right. So that's the other thing that sometimes I think about, which is, do you guys remember Home from PlayStation 3?
Yes.
Right.
It's been
So
coming up more recently.
Home was free, right? It was a free software that you could have it on your console. And then inside you would have free stuff, but paid stuff. And funny enough, the company that I work for now, which is Lockwood Publishing, started as one of the most successful companies that made content for Home by itself. So they made money out of content for PlayStation Home. So that means that it is possible to build a business model where Dreams comes free, and then the content in there is either free because we want to be free, or if you want something to sell it for, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
So, but you need to build the system. You need to build the ecosystem and the business model for that. So that's one of the possibilities which would rule out the problem of publishing. So if you charge for your game, then you need to get reviews for it. You need to go through this normal process of getting people to buy it, which is you have good reviews here and there. You show it to people. You put some trailers out, and people go, I would pay $10 for this. Okay, I'll pay it. And so either they have that idea of that business model that was a mimic of what they did with PlayStation Home, or they have the other one, free Dreams, paid games inside Dreams, or the other one where you still paid, or it's free, or it doesn't matter, but then to publish it and to make money, you have to take it out of Dreams. So maybe a PlayStation Home that is Dreams actually in PlayStation 5 would be something that probably makes some sense.
It's funny you mentioned that, because on a couple of episodes ago, I actually mentioned of the possibility of PlayStation Home coming back, especially with PSVR 2 on the rise as well, and the possibility of integrating Dreams into PlayStation Home. So it's quite funny that that's brought up.
Who knows?
Y'all
I wish I
still
knew.
like how he just y'all still like how he just takes my idea and proposes it as his own,
It's
right?
not your idea.
I proposed. Go back and watch the first season, bro. And no, everybody said I was a madman. But anyway, no. It would be actually putting it in that realm that definitely feels right. It's just, I guess, Media Molecule being able to set that up, or I don't know how they would be able to, like, if they could actually just take what existed as home and just alter it and like put the code. I don't know how any of that works personally. So but that would be like, yeah, that would be the best thing.
Yeah.
As Atheist said, the metaverse is bringing PlayStation home back. Yeah, that's kind of like the thing. Like, everyone's gonna have it, and so I mean, I say why not? That is the perfect idea. So
Yeah, PlayStation Home is super old, so
no,
I don't think they want to bring it back. They
No.
would just make something from scratch.
it's like,
But
yeah,
a PlayStation Home
Yes.
today would be great. Some
Yeah.
form of it would be fantastic.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
the Power Glove, some form of it.
Nope.
No, because I'm really happy with the controllers for the PSVR 2. That's all we've seen so far. But I'm really happy with them because they literally are a glove without being a glove. Like, in the way
Okay.
the sensors work within them, it's like, as I was telling people, I wasn't actually saying that we should bring back the actual old design of, like, the Power Glove, but just the idea of it is something that I think is great. And as always, I have to make my weekly plea for Sony
Yes,
to please put in the drivers for Wacom support. Please. I would love it so much, especially in Dreams. Like, I've been working in 2D recently, or trying to create like a 2D style that kind of works like the movement in South Park for a side scroller, because, like I said, I didn't get into play to make a game, but every now and again I have these random delusions that I'll actually get it done. And like, I really like working in this new format I have, but literally something that took me like 2, 3, 4 hours to do, I could have done, I know, and I'm not exaggerating, I could have done in 10 minutes max if I just had a Wacom. And it just, like, so I would personally, as my plea, always, every week, if I could just get somebody to go to PlayStation and just be like, can we get some Wacom? I mean, we're all basically running like game dedicated computers, but they're computers. Like, just get the drivers, baby. Like, get the drivers so that I can just take this monitor I have right here, my art monitor, and literally just plug it into my PS5, and I would be the happiest boy on the planet. It's just Christmas every day. But other than that,
Yeah, I think
Go
we should
ahead.
let this man go to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, we had another question. Nope.
Shoot, let's go for one last question. Yeah,
One
let's
last
go.
question for Jet Yeti. Here we go. I guess I have another question. Even if you yourself don't consider it as a professional tool, do you think Dreams is a good starting point for a portfolio?
Yes. Definitely. Yes. Everything is good for your portfolio if it's done right.
There you go.
There you go. Get your portfolio going, Jet Yeti.
Definitely. And Jet Yeti, I can't wait till we get to have you on, because
Yeah, I know. You
I
are.
really want to talk to you about some of the stuff you've been saying, good and bad. Good and bad. But
He is always so active in the comments, so it'd be
Yeah.
a really good conversation to have vocally.
Yes, and I want to see his work. But anyway, with that, ladies and gentlemen, yes, it started off kind of wild, just
Yeah.
but we got through it, and thank you, Felipe, for coming on. For
my
you know,
pleasure, man. No,
it's
it's
always a blast.
really.
It's
Yeah,
so-
thank you.
It's so nice to see that, these students had a great time with Dreams as well, and the course was a success. And yeah, please come back when this second course is done. It'd be great to hear how it goes for those guys.
Yeah, let's do it again. It actually, because now COVID restrictions are a bit lighter here in Portugal, it will end. it will finish sooner in August. So we
Oh,
can
brilliant.
aim
Well,
for
let's arrange.
September.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
that'd be great.
it's supposed to be 7-8 months, but the first year took 1 year because we had to stop and start and stop and start. So
Yeah.
it should be in September. I should have the projects for the second year. So yeah, we can.
That'd be
I can
great.
talk with you guys again, and I can come back again.
Yeah. Perfect.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much for
Perfect.
coming. Really appreciate you
Thank you,
coming on
guys.
again, and
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
keep doing
And
what you're doing.
And reminder to everybody, please, if you're in the Discord and you know of a small game or just a complete game that's within Dreams, go post the In Dreams link in the Discord so that I can hand it off to my friend who we'll be speaking with shortly. So, anyway, thank you everybody for coming through again for another week. You've brightened a very dark day for me personally. So, so thank you to all of you. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye bye.